Welcome to the new section of our Veneer Architecture program. Today we are in the franchise office of the famous architect Mr. Pierre, and we will have a conversation with him. And we will be discussing his architectural philosophy, inspirations, and design process.
Mr. Pierre, how did you get into architecture? What led you to this field and how would you describe your personality and architectural philosophy?
Interestingly, I actually start off with biology. I grew up around of nature, and I think that affects my perspective of the world.
Absolutely.
But trip of Istanbul that way was changed my ideas because the Istanbul's buildings and Istanbul's peoples, I see them and I realize that buildings are like the living organisms.
It's a beautiful city.
That was beautiful still, of course, but the buildings was very interesting to me because I see them, I see peoples, and they interact with each others, like the nature, like the I see a tree, like the tree and the bugs or the animals. Animals is not a good good sense for the people, but you understand.
Yes.
But at that moment I realized that architecture is the field of where I can use my fascination with biology, because architecture is very interesting to me. Then I realized that.
I understand.
But it's not about the buildings itself. It's about its natures, its surroundings, its people, it's their history, people's history, people's ideas, which is important for the design. I would say that for an answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you. How would you describe your architectural philosophy? I'm sure many influences shape your designs, but what is the core of your approach?
For me, but wait a minute, let me take this out because it's hot. Thank you. For me, it's architecture is more about feelings and experience of the building itself. It's about the balance of almost opposite things, like functionality and beauty. The building can be beautiful but has no function. Is a nonsense for me. Or building can have a lot of functions itself but has no beauty. It's not looking good and it's nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my philosophy revolves around the balance, the opposite things. I would say so. I believe the building, the structure itself, should be in harmony in its nature, in its environments, with its users, the peoples. So
Like a music, I think. It's relatable with the music, the harmony.
I wouldn't say so like that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say so like that. But it's not just about making something beautiful and functional. Making something functional for people who live in that and work in it. Functional. It's very important aspect of the building itself, but not the most important one. And there is an aspect of that evolution, like the nature and in history, like the people's ideals, and in the history too also, and organisms evolution. My designs has functional, beauty, and evolution. I would say so for your question. I would say so.
So, what influences your work? I mean, are there specific places, cultures, or environments that have shaped your designs?
I would say cities has most influence on me, besides the nature. Nature has a very big influence on me, I would say so, because I have grew up in it, and it says it's in its patterns, its forms, its patterns. Very interesting, I would say so. And cities, of course, like Istanbul, Paris, and Montreux, I would say. Montreux, gerçi.
You are French, right?
I'm French, yes.
Yeah.
My father French, my
Mhm.
mother Turk. So, little cultural differences, but I love it. I love the
I
difference.
guess it's your accent.
It's very easy to understand. Like my studio's name, franchise.
Yeah,
In
it's
Eskişehir.
very creative. Yeah. I like it.
We are in Eskişehir and my own French.
Mhm.
It's French S. You
Yeah.
get it.
Easy.
You get it. Let's turn to the question. You said what are your influences? You said, and I will say cities, nature, Istanbul, Paris. The complexity of the cities itself, the buildings and the people's interactions with each other itself. So, I would say, and there is history. I almost forgot it. History has very interesting because you see an old building, you see who made them, you see their ideas, and they change through the time. It's very interesting to study on it. If you say like in Eskişehir, Odunpazarı,
Yeah.
you see that
Mm-hmm.
it's the old house, and
Beautiful place.
the other of the city is very different of, but the same problem is here. Like this hill is important for defense. Like we do not take importance of defense anymore.
Yeah.
So you see the difference of the problems, evaluation,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very it's very inspirational for me. I would say so like that for your question.
It's a great answer. Thank you.
Voilà. De rien, we say in French.
So, is there a particular role model or figure that has influenced you? I mean, someone whose work you admire or have looked up you?
Yes, definitely. Leonardo da Vinci, I would say, has always a big inspiration on me.
Absolutely.
Because he's a multidisciplinaire.
Yeah.
He worked on architecture, philosophy, botany, medicine,
Music.
science, art. You say music.
Yeah.
He's a multidisciplinaire. I would like to take that on my own role to work in my works. He's a big visionary. He sees. It's a big word, but I would say so. He's seeing the future. You must see it. His works, his projects, and I'm working on it. Be like that. Be like him.
Yeah.
It's a big word. I can understand, but it's my hope to be a good architect.
So, are you functional, disciplinary person?
I'm trying to it. I'm trying on it. I'm examining the nature. I'm in botany, and let's turn to our topic. And he's very big man. He's very grand man.
Genius.
Genius. He's
Yeah.
genius. You say. Just like Da Vinci, I believe architecture can't be limited to one point, to one topic. You see a lot of dots, and the architect's approach should be like seeing a lot of points seeing a lot of dots in the studies and connect them all in one structures, one example in a balanced way, I would say so. Right?
Yeah.
So it's Da Vinci, I would say.
Okay. It's a great choice. I like it. So what about architectural discussions and debates? I mean, how do you approach these, especially when there are different viewpoints?
I do find that discussions. I do find that these discussions about one absolute right thing, I think that's nonsense for me, because in architecture there is no absolute one right thing, one right idea, one right seeing the building. It's the design problem, and everyone can see differently. So I think those discussions are absolute nonsense. But it's a good way to learn who is who and how to other people's look at other people, look at the buildings. It's give the persons different viewpoints of how to design a building, I personally, I can be stubborn for my ideas, to my ideas. But I would say I'm open to other ideas, because if you just believe one idea and make on it, it's boring.
Yeah.
You need to be open to see differences. So these discussions is very absolute nonsense, but gives person different ideas to design a building. I would say so like that.
So you say it's an indefined problem for the architecture.
Yeah.
So you can't relate to anybody viewpoints. Is it true?
I would say it's kind of true, because you see the others design, others persons design. I see myself. Others tend to say their design is better, because everyone has an ego on itself. And they try to believe the others people their design is better, their design is perfect, their design is the best thing on the world. It's very nonsense. So I do not like the discussions, but it's good point to see the others, myself. It's good, but not the discussion part. It's not good.
Yeah. Okay.
I do not like that. Just to see. Okay.
So your architectural perspective is very personal, right?
Yes, very closed.
Yeah.
You can say so like that. But I do not believe that.
So is it unique for you?
Every person's mind is unique, and designs are related to minds, the perspective of the persons. It's unique. Okay, it can be like that.
Let's continue in architectural problems. I mean, do you encounter challenges or obstacles in your work, and how do you handle those?
There's always a problem, because the problem is the human, the person, what he does, what she does, what a person do in a life. We designed that person's problems in a building which he can do whatever he wants, whatever his problems needs to be solved, needs to do something It's about the human's problems, it's about human psychology, it's about the feelings of the place of the human on the human itself. And I do not see the problems as the problems, because the problems led to new ideas, problems led to persons rethink the problems itself and make new solutions for it. Problems is a good way to research something. I love problems, and when I encounter a problem, I take my papers, I take my sketchbook, I take a pencil like that. I take a pencil. I take my sketchbook. There is no sketcher, so okay. I take my sketchbook and drawing.
Yeah.
And a little bit inspiration for me.
So how about the digital drawings?
Digital drawings are very quick, but I do not like them. Maybe I'm old, maybe because of that, but I like the physical touch. I like drawing. I like thinking in the drawings, like draw a house, a person, what he can do in here.
I think you feel more free.
Yes, because there's limitless resource on me, and I can do whatever I want. Then, when I design something, design a project solution, I isolate myself and settle down for a second, for a month, for a week.
In your office or?
In my office or nature itself, or house. Somewhere isolated from the people. And then I come up with a great idea, I suppose, I would say so. It doesn't have to be perfect idea. There is no perfection in the world, so it's not to be perfect. So I see obstacles like that. That's my answer, I would say. Yeah, yes. That can be my answer.
It's a great answer, thank you.
You're welcome. We say in French.
Monsieur Pierre, I wonder what does success mean for you in architecture as a successful architect?
Success is not about just building a beautiful building or well-functioning building, I say. It's about the feelings of the building on people, on person. Building has its own story. Should have his own story. It must be reflect a story, because the people around the building has a story, and in that story there is a building which we build. The building, if the building has its own story, I would say it's a successful building, because it's more mean to people, to person. It has a mean for them. If a building has meaning and whatever, architecture is not just for building something. It's not just about building construction. It's about making meaningful, balanced buildings. It's about these. I would say if a building has these things on it, I would say it's a successful, and it's a success for its architect. I would say so like that.
So you said the story of the structure. So has your structures have a story?
I think yes. If you look at my buildings, you can understand them if you research it. I think yes. I'm designing for that. I'm trying for it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay,
Monsieur Pierre, thank you for joining us today. You gave very great answers.
You're welcome, you're welcome. It's very joyful, I suppose. It's very joyful to have a conversation with you.
Thank you. Next week, next time, we will hear, as you know. Have a great day.
Balance of opposite things. Ama niye yaptın ki bunu ya?
Yiyor kahve yiyor. Ben de baştan.
Bak. Thank you for
Bence